so many of Trump's allies are just cooked. Like, they're done. And the people who continue to defend him are going to be done in the future. And for some reason, Jeremy Vine is asking, is Trump Britain's friend or foe? This should be really obvious to people, I think. But let's get into it, because they're sort of crediting Keir Starmer with standing up to him. As though Keir Starmer hasn't kowtowed to this man again and again and again, and is still kowtowing to him. We're still allowing him to use British military bases to bomb Iranian schoolgirls. It's wild. But let's get into it.
All this comes amid a warning in the Times today that Britain could face shortages of chicken, pork and other supermarket items this summer as a result of the Iran war under a worst-case scenario.
I love starving for Israel.
So I gather, because we're in local election season here, the whole Iran war and Keir Starmer saying I'm standing up to Trump is going really well on the doorsteps. Really well for Labour.
I'm not sure it's been translated into polls yet, or really Starmer's position, but it's much better to start telling the truth, although I prefer the words of Ed Davey, the Liberal Democrat leader, who said Trump was treating our country like a mafia boss running a protection racket. He's become a fool. He's declared economic war on the UK, both with his tariffs, which he was implementing unilaterally, then forever threatening to go back on deals he strikes. For instance, saying we lost about 450 service people in Afghanistan, and he claimed they were never in the front line, insulting them.
He did withdraw that.
Yeah, and he
he withdrew it. I guess that makes it fine. But also, I kind of disagree with Kevin Maguire, because, like, this isn't just how Trump treats the UK. This is how Trump treats fucking everyone. In order to deal with Trump, you have to understand, you don't give him any honey. You don't give him, any of your love. You hammer him, and then you tell him, let's make a deal. Like, that is how you do it. You metaphorically punch him in the face and then say, time to make a deal. Because he respects that. The people who stand up to him gain his respect. And bear in mind, his respect isn't worth much, because he's just a liar, like a massive liar. Like, even Keir Starmer keeps his word more often than Donald Trump does. And so any agreement you make with him, you've got to bear in mind he's going to break it. But you get some compliance out of him by beating him up before you try and make a deal. And again, metaphorically, I'm not talking about literally being up. I'm talking about, like, in negotiation terms. If you're a harsh negotiator, you'll win out with this guy. If not, you're wasting your time.
Pressure, and he's started a madcap war he doesn't know how to get out of, which is creating untold economic harm as well as people dying. And how do we reward him? Well, we send the king. We send the king. I mean, I think he'll bask in it. I think it's we just got to take a tougher line with him. The king shouldn't go, and just call him out.
Really?
Because he is now a foe.
You think the king shouldn't go?
No, I think the king must go. I think
because he's a foe.
Well, him and Andrew have mutual friends, shall we say?
I think it's crucial in the current circumstances. We know that the one thing that Trump does love about this country is the king, is the monarchy, is the pageantry and all the rest of it. At a time when we do need to be on good terms with the states, that doesn't mean joining in the war, but being on good terms with the states, I think the king's visit is utterly crucial. If you
What I don't like, this is stupid. She's really stupid. Like, I don't need to tell you that, but she is fucking stupid, because the last thing you want with Donald Trump is to make him think that you're a sucker, because he doesn't respect suckers. He respects the people who make him sit up and pay attention. Like, Anne Widdecombe doesn't care, though. She's there to suck up to Trump. She is one of the suckers. She's one of the losers that Trump says he likes to surround himself with, the people who'll kiss the ring, so to speak, in the King's Council. Like, she's one of them. She's a sycophant. That's what her role is.
Withdraw the king's visit, then you probably will precipitate all these things that he's threatened, like, removing our favourable terms, etc., with the trade, etc., etc. There's no need for it. There's absolutely no need for it.
Fuck it. Let him. we go to China. We say, hey, China, we're not part of the European Union. You can do deals directly with us. And obviously this whole thing with Trump is screwing everybody in the European Union over, and do what Spain did. Go to China, similar to the UK. Like, Spain doesn't have a large manufacturing base. So trade with China is like so in our interests, and saying to the Chinese, hey, you want to do trade that's like manufacturing heavy? Come work with the UK. We can say the same thing to the European Union. Come work with the UK. We don't need to do this thing where we're like kissing Donald Trump's ass for no good reason. Because it doesn't matter how much you like bow and scrape and lick the boot. Like, I'm sorry, he's just going to turn around in a few months' time and go, well, Elon Musk said to me that you guys were all an Islamist state, the first Islamist state with nuclear weapons, or whatever the fuck JD Vance claimed the other day. And they're just going to turn around and fuck you anyway. Like, why kowtow to them? There's no need. You just tank your approval ratings in the UK. That is the only result. It's not going to save you from the like economic stagnation. It's just not, because you can't make a deal, because all of the deals that Donald Trump does are written in fucking water. When I don't know when people will understand this, but it should be really obvious to anybody watching right now.
That does not mean that we need to join in the war. But the brutal fact is we can't do anything because we haven't got anything to do it with. We haven't got a navy. We've got severely depleted forces. And we couldn't do much anyway. And I think defensive...
I think Anne Widdecombe was like a Conservative minister during the coalition years. So for her to be on here going, yeah, it really sucks that we haven't got a military anymore, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, that was you. That was fucking you. And the people she's now hanging with are all like former Tories. So they're people whose ideology fucked everything. And now in the UK, we have to like do this thing where they all go, well, we tried going really, really right wing and cutting everything, and that didn't work. So maybe what we need to do is we need to go even more right wing. We need to blame immigrants and the disabled and poor people even more, and do more austerity. And if we do it this time and we do it hard enough, then eventually it'll work. And it's like, fuck, just admit you're wrong. Just admit you're wrong. Oh my God.
Measures in the Straits of Hormuz is something that we could with honour join in. But we can't because we haven't got the necessary to do it with.
So just taking a temperature from the government here about Trump and so on. We had words from the Chancellor speaking at an event in Washington yesterday. Rachel Reeves was critical of Donald Trump's war.
There was a diplomatic channel open. Conversations, there's discussions, formal discussions were happening. I think it was a mistake to end those and to enter into conflict.
But she insisted the special relationship is still a close one.
The US-UK relationship is long-lasting and enduring. And, friends are allowed to disagree on things. And that is natural, whether it is two friends that have known each other for many years or two countries that have had this special relationship for many decades. We don't always have to agree on everything. And actually, when you are friends, you can speak your truth and deliver that clear message. And that's what we are doing in the UK.
My friends don't fucking screw me over, though. Like, I think that's the big difference. Like, why are you acting like he's a friend to the UK? He's clearly not. Like, he's clearly not. I don't understand this way of thinking. It's like you haven't learned anything from, like, the past year of Donald Trump's presidency. Again, if you don't stand up to this guy, you won't get anywhere.
Right.
Interesting, isn't it? The sort of whole tone of it. But we're asking whether Donald Trump is our friend or our foe. Peter in the West Midlands, hi.
Hiya.
What do you think, friend or foe?
Well, I think he's a friend. I think he's trying to teach us a lesson that the British Empire is down the chute and the American Empire is in control of the world.
Well,
sorry, I love that as a sort of like opener. Jesus Christ. It's just like the lesson he's trying to teach us is to lick his unmentionables. Like that is the approach that he's taking without saying it. And it's like, dude, that's not a lesson. That's just humiliating people for no reason. And if you bow and scrape to the bully, people will remember that. People will remember that you refuse to stand up to the bully. Like, they will. Like, even Jeremy Vine is like, no, fuck that.
Oddly, they couldn't win in Vietnam, they couldn't win in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they're now struggling in Iran. Why do you say they're in control of the world?
I think economically they are, to be fair, in control of the world. I think Jeremy Vine's point there is a little bit weak. It's although I have to say, like, in terms of winning wars is a very different thing to being like the global hegemon. Like the US is the global hegemon right now. It still is. But very shortly, that might be China's role. I think we've entered the Chinese century now. Better start practicing your Mandarin.
They're in control of the world. They've got the largest economy and the largest military. The reason they didn't win in those places is because they didn't use nuclear weapons. Otherwise, they'd have wiped the floor with these guys.
Don't know where
They didn't use nuclear. Oh my fucking god! How is this guy the first caller? What the hell? How is this guy the first caller? Oh my god! Like, oh yeah, I'm sure that the way to win in Iraq was to drop a nuke on Baghdad. Just drop a nuke on Baghdad. Obviously, why didn't they do that? Jesus Christ, Peter. The fuck are you saying? Like, you drop a nuke on Baghdad, okay, then what? Do you think that's going to make people, like, keen on you? No, that's probably going to get you, that's probably going to have countries around the world going, hey, not to push you or anything, the Pentagon, but you need to remove the president that just did that, because I don't much fancy dying in a nuclear war. That would be bad. Like, I know Iraq can't fire nuclear weapons back, but any other country that is like, oh, fuck, the USA is lobbing nukes now, they're going to have their finger on the red button. I don't want to live in that world. Not to mention that, does that mean that, like, Russia is in control of the US because they have, like, technically have a larger nuclear stockpile than the US does, and therefore they should be the global hegemons because technically they could use their full power and wipe out the USA. It's just such a dumb way of thinking. My stick bigger than your stick. Fucking troglodyte caveman. Christ. I don't know how people keep their cool with some of the callers that are on this. And I probably shouldn't, like, insult this guy, but Jesus Christ. Really? Nukes? Nukes was where you went to?
Yeah, I suppose that's it. If you could win a war with a nuclear weapon, you've already effectively won it. That's
well,
the
we're
argument.
trying to stop Iran getting one, aren't we?
Well, we're trying to stop anyone using nuclear weapons in truth. And on the...
Hang on. We are trying to stop Iran getting one. Anne Widdecombe's not being clear there, but I think what she means is Trump is trying to stop Iran getting a nuclear weapon. Trump scrapped the JCPOA, which was the agreement that was already in place. They were abiding by all of the rules and regulations. They were agreeing to can't pronounce it. I can't say it now. I'm just going to say the full thing. International Atomic Energy, is it Association? I can't remember. Authority, that's it. International Atomic Energy Authority regulations. Like, they were already abiding by all of that. They were already, like, working with us. They were already not pursuing a nuclear weapon. There was, like, a fatwa out against the idea of pursuing a nuclear weapon from the old guard of the Iranian regime. And now it's been made super clear that actually having a nuclear weapon is the only way to stay safe. Like, Saddam Hussein didn't get one, Gaddafi gave up his weapons of mass destruction, and Ayatollah Khamenei didn't pursue a nuclear weapon. They all died. And you know who didn't die? The Kim regime in North Korea, who, by the way, are every bit as, like, violent and aggressive as the Iranians. Like, at least as, probably more so, to be fair. I'd say they're a lot more aggressive towards their neighbors than the Iranians have ever been. But anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get on with the debate.
Question of Iran. The UK thought the talks on nuclear weapons, which Iran denies, were going well anyway over the enriched
how could it
uranium.
be going
But
well if they
Peter,
were denying
we could just devastate the world. We could kill everybody with nuclear weapons.
Peter, isn't it a bit brutalist to say that? You could be in charge of the whole world if you're able to level it.
Well, I mean, that's the reality of power. The reason the Americans are actually lose wars is because they're quite liberal and merciful upon their enemies, but they could wipe.
Jesus Christ, Peter, you fucking psycho. Where do they find these people? My God. I can't believe Peter's a real person. If he's trolling, that is a top tier troll, I've got to say.
Them out if they wanted to.
Peter, that is just not the case from the Vietnam War, and the number of people, was it 1 million plus Vietnamese who died? What happened in Iraq, in Afghanistan? There's no way they are merciful, unfortunately, when they go into
Well, of
war.
course they are, and they're merciful to us because we're going down the chutes, and they're trying to teach us a lesson in growing up into becoming a more sensible post-Empire Britain.
Would you?
A more sensible post-Empire Britain. Yeah, that face that Kevin Maguire is pulling right now, that is how I feel internally. Like, what are you talking about? They're teaching us a lesson. Dude, we haven't got an empire. There's no lesson to be learned here. The lesson is, like, lick my boot, or I'll try and, like, kick you with it. Like, it's not a lesson, dude. It's not a lesson. He just wants people to bow and scrape to him. It's all about his ego. It's pretty much all it is. And he's got himself in deep. He's like, he's gone into Iran, saying that he's going to, destroy them and all this. And now he's going, actually, they seem a bit tougher than I thought. I've made a mess, but you guys sort it out. That seems to be his approach. Not sure I think that's trying to teach us a lesson and being merciful and all that shit. Like bombing a girls' school and killing 167 kids. Not really the most merciful act, especially as we're talking about a double tap strike as well. So they didn't just bomb the girls' school; they bombed the girls' school, waited until the paramedics and that rushed in, and then bombed it again. Merciful, sure, Peter.
If you, sorry, let me ask Peter. Would you want, given that you admire the states, would you want us to have their gun laws?
No.
Yeah, I'd like a rifle.
I don't.
Fuck. Yeah, let's not do that. Peter, respectfully, you would never be given a... Like, even in the USA, people probably look at people like Peter, like, you find the most, like unregulated gun state in the USA, in like one of those gun shows where they'll just give a rifle to literally anyone, and they're like, yeah, we'll give a rifle to anyone. Peter walks in there and he's like, yeah, I think actually nuclear weapons are how you hold power, and we could deal with a lot more problems by being less snowflakey about it and just nuking places. And that the people in that gun show are going to go, yeah, don't give that guy a rifle. Do not give that guy a gun. Jesus Christ.
I want you to have a rifle.
Oh, did he just... Yeah, okay, Jeremy Vine is thinking along the same lines as me. I don't want that guy to have a rifle either.
You talked about, the United States wasn't merciful. I would ask this. If you're a woman in Afghanistan, would you prefer to have lived under the rule while the United States was there in occupation? Or would you prefer to live under the Taliban?
Yeah, no.
Hang on. Trump's doing deals with the Taliban now. You know who else I wouldn't want to live under? Saudi Arabia. If I was a woman and I was living under a regime, I would rather that it was not the Saudi regime, and yet Trump's doing photo ops with the Saudi regimes, telling us how Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi crown prince, kisses his ass. Like, don't tell me that kowtowing to the Trump regime is what makes a state one that respects women's rights. Also, fuck off, Anne. You want to, like, I swear, Anne Widdecombe is, like, in favour of making abortion illegal, the recriminalisation of abortion. Fuck off talking about women's rights. Like, this, it's always the sort of Western Sharia people who are, like, super concerned about women's rights here in the... in Iran, and then you turn around and you look at their views of what they think should happen in the UK, and it's like, well, we don't think like women should have rights. I was just like, fuck off, come on, we can do so much better than this. But yeah, let's carry on with the clip. I've lost my mouse. There it is.
Look, it's a vile theocratic regime in Afghanistan. unfortunately, quite a few people in Afghanistan wanted it.
Well, I mean, also we're kind of debating who won that war, and you can't say the Americans won it. Thank you, Peter, with your,
I don't think so.
Hopefully, the empty space on the wall where you're planning to put your rifle. Scott in Argyll, hello.
He's right about that.
Good morning, Jeremy.
Friend or foe, Mr. Trump?
Trump was a friend right up to Starmer let him down.
Oh,
Typical
okay.
Starmer.
Christ. Okay.
He's now taking the rhetoric up a gear, isn't he, Keir Starmer?
Starmer he's
Scott is just making noises down the phone. Wait. Okay, right.
he's a foe to Britain.
Starmer is. Yeah.
Starmer's not for Britain.
We're losing you. We're doing the old Norman Collier. Go again.
Okay.
Starmer's not for Britain. Starmer's for himself and himself only.
Kevin.
Well, thanks for elaborating, Scott. What? He's like, yeah, Starmer let him down. Look, don't make me defend Keir Starmer, but Donald Trump was going to treat us like shit either way. Because that's how he treats people who don't stand up to him. Like, kind of message of the video here, but like, I think it's so prevalent in conversations about Trump that it just bears repeating.
Scott, right, I don't know where to begin here, but let's just start then with a threat to British manufacturing and the economy when Trump decided to unilaterally impose tariffs and trade barriers, and Jaguar Land Rover had to halt exports to the States because we weren't going to be able to sell the cars. How's that an act of a friend?
Is that an act of a friend?
How is that an act of a friend? That's not an act of a friend. It was an act of a fool.
He gave us preferential trade terms. Yeah, come on.
He gave us slightly.
He gave us preferential.
He shaved a bit off.
He didn't have to.
They weren't preferential.
Wait, hold on. Keir Starmer went and kissed his ass until he gave us slightly preferential trade terms, which he then reneged on a few months later. Right? Fuck. Why? Why would you bother? Like, Donald Trump doesn't know what he did yesterday. The man's brain is melting. Like, you don't need to kowtow to him like this. Stand up to him for the short-term benefit of it makes him pay attention. And then you get a reasonably good deal, but you know that down the line he's going to renege on it, so you don't keep your hopes up, but you keep standing up to him. If you keep standing up to him, you've got a structure. Like, this is silly. And Anne Widdecombe looks silly every time she has to defend Trump like this.
Sure.
They were.
Okay. Scott, go on.
Kevin.
Scott.
Right, okay. Right, listen to me, let me talk, right? Because every programme you're on, you butt in.
That is not true. He's honestly, everyone butts in,
right,
but Kevin is one of the polite. Go on, Scott, let's go for it. If your phone holds up.
Right.
Let's hear what he's saying.
Well,
When Trump ran for president, he said, make America great again. America first. Why does Starmer not put Britain first?
All right, Scott. Thank you very much indeed. Take care. The phone came good in the end there. Should we just talk to Kathleen in the West Midlands before we take our break?
Yeah, you know what we should do is we should put Britain first by involving ourselves in an illegal war that will end up with like a load of our energy and trade being cut off, and impoverishing us, and ending up with us running into shortages of beef and pork for no good reason. Yeah, that sounds like I love it when I put Britain first by bringing about shortages of food in the UK. Jesus Christ. I guarantee you, just guarantee you that we're going to end up in a worse situation if we follow Donald Trump than if we stand up to him. Like, even if he like tries to he could try to economically sanction us if he likes. I'm still willing to bet that we'll end up in a better situation if we stand up to him, because he likes people who stand up to him. Anyway, there was one more caller on this segment, wasn't there?
Hey, Kathleen.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Mr. Trump is a foe. He's unpredictable because he wants our king to go over, and which I think with Anne, that's important. But he is belittling us. Not only
Kathleen, you had me until you said that we should send the king over to him. Like, I'm anti-monarchist, really, but like, don't play to his ego. Like, it's not to do with whether I think like the monarchy is a good thing. I don't think the monarchy is a good thing, and I don't think there's much point in sending the king over there. But Donald Trump wants that. He wants people to know that King Charles is there to go and kiss his ass. That's what he wants. Don't give him what he wants. Make him work for it. Make him work for it, because he is a dog with the brain of a dog, and you have to throw the and taunt him and before you throw the ball, because otherwise he ain't paying attention to you. He's like looking elsewhere. If you want him to be paying attention to your negotiations, you've got to taunt him before it even starts. Don't give him what he wants straight away, because he won't learn anything that way. And you've got to treat him like a dog or a toddler that is really struggling with basic concepts.
not only that, but we have a former Prime Minister of the same party whispering into Trump's ear at the same time, which I think is very, very bad.
Oh, same party. You must be talking about Blair then.
Blair.
Okay,
Yes.
not Truss.
Yes, I don't think that's right.
My
but
mind
that's
went to
my
Truss then.
opinion. He is unpredictable. He is a foe to us because he could be friends. He wants to see our king, which I agree with Anne, that's very important because, you know, we've got to keep some dialogue with
Wait, so you think Trump is a foe?
That's stupid. Sorry,
He definitely
Kathleen.
is. He's very unpredictable as well.
All right, Kathleen, thank you so much for calling. After the break, we're taking more of your calls on whether Trump is a...
I think I'll probably just call it there. Just do half the segment because it's already shaping up to be like a half-hour video. We want to do more stuff like this where we just react to stuff, not just debates like this, but also right-wing content. We've got like a list of right-wing content that we can like put out some reactions to. If there is stuff that you want to see us react to, feel free to send it in to us. We are looking for that sort of stuff. And as usual, you can go to turnleftmedia.co.uk if you fancy supporting us. Other than that, please do give this video a like, a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share the video, you know the drill. And hopefully we'll see you in the next reaction video. Don't forget we have Normal Ireland tomorrow at 7:30.